On the show, in Wheelspin, we drive the new Honda City. And in Wheelspin, we ride the Royal Enfield Continental GT. And on the road, we drive the Linear to Chiplun. This is the new Honda City, which Honda just launched a few days ago. And if, like me, you too were expecting a lot of changes, then you might be a trifle disappointed. But make no mistake, this is a brand new car. The platform is new, but the exterior dimensions remain pretty much the same. What has changed is the wheelbase inside. It's gone up by 50 millimeters, and that's what gives the car a lot more roominess than the old City. But the styling is conservative. Honda has always been conservative with the design of the City, and this car is not really any different. But then this car is made to please everybody. The first Honda City was launched in 1996, and after that came the second generation in 2002, and the third generation was launched in 2008, and finally the fourth generation a month back in November of this year. Purpose-built as a car for driving in the crowded conditions with stop-and-go traffic, the City was meant to be easy to drive with adequate power and good fuel efficiency, with enough space for easy commuting. The City became quite popular and till date has sold over 2.2 million units globally in 55 countries. In India too, the City had its following with people preferring the Honda badging over other cheaper sedans, as it brought in exemplary build quality and a petrol engine which was easily one of the most refined. The new City too continues with Honda's tradition of providing their customers with impeccable build quality. If you just happen to open the door and close it, you will notice that it shuts with a precise thud. Ditto for the boot lid here. And this is very reassuring for all potential Honda customers. The new design 3-spoke steering wheel looks quite nice, and it feels good too, as on this top trim it comes wrapped in leather, and it has multifunction buttons here for the radio as well as the cruise control right here. The new City too retains the old flavor of offering a solid build quality, but where it has added to it is in terms of features. The City no longer looks as starved as compared to its Korean competitors in terms of bells and whistles. And if one looks at the track records of cars like the Hyundai Verna, which had done exceedingly well in this segment, it is the lack of features which had let the City down. But this time Honda is making no mistake, as it has packed in everything from a touchscreen climate control to even a sunroof on the top end. As to be expected, the all-new City has all new interiors, and I quite like the instrumentation panel here, which is large dial, easy to read with a chrome surround, and there's a lot of information that you can get from here. The central fascia here is also all new with a display in the center which gives you a lot of information, and this is also touchscreen. Whether you like the black on black with a little bit of silver garnishing is up to you. I personally don't dig it too much, but then you might like it. The new City is going to be launched with this IV-Tech petrol engine as well as the diesel. And it's the diesel which is going to be the first for Honda as well as the City in this segment. Honda has been very well known for their petrol engines, and it has been their strong point. And now it's time for me to get in behind the wheel and check out this engine. The City I am driving is powered by a 1.5-litre petrol. The petrol engine will be mated to a 5-speed manual transmission as well as a CVT transmission. And where this auto box scores is in terms of fuel efficiency, where it delivers more than its manual sibling. The ARI figures for fuel efficiency for the CVT is 18 km per litre, while for the manual it is marginally lower at 17.8 km to a litre. The City had never been about performance, and this new City is really no different. But having said that, let me tell you that the petrol engine under the bonnet is one of the best in the business. It's really refined, quiet, and power delivery is very, very smooth. And it has one of the best fuel averages in the entire segment. In terms of handling and suspension setup, this car is geared more for comfort than for out-and-out performance and throwing it around fast corners. The city has always been a car for driving on the highway or in-city commute, and the suspension is just tuned right for it. Now I'm going to switch cars and get into something that has the potential to change things for Honda as well as for this segment, the diesel variant of the new City. But where Honda is really going to take on the competition is from under the bonnet. The addition of a 1.5-litre diesel with an incredible fuel efficiency of 26 kilometers to a litre is where it's going to hurt the rivals more and at the same time delight its customers. The diesel is powered by a 1.5-litre engine which churns out 100 PS and 200 Newton meters of torque and is mated to a manual 6-speed transmission. If you look externally, there are no telltale signs of the difference between the diesel and the petrol variant except for the little ID Tech badging on the boot. But in terms of driving and drivability, there is a sea change. While the petrol appeared smooth and refined, the diesel appears somewhat loud, especially at lower revs, and much coarser. But where it scores is here. This is a 1.5-litre diesel, churns out 100 PS and gives out a mind-boggling fuel efficiency of 26 kilometers to a litre. Makes you wonder where these diesel engines are headed for. Not that I mind really. Okay, this is not the quietest, this is not the most efficient engine, nor is it going to get you from one traffic light to another in the fastest possible way. But with 26 kilometers to a litre, do you really care? I don't. After having driven both the variants of the new City, the diesel and the petrol, I can say that this is a very potent machine which has the potential to change things in this segment and take on the segment leader, the Hyundai Verna. If you look at the segment here, the sales come mainly from the diesel. As in the case of the Verna, it was about 90% of diesel that was generating the sales. And in the case of this City, I don't see things happening very differently. So with the diesel, Honda should shake up this segment, especially if they do manage to price the car right. Chances are they will this time, and if that happens, this is a potential winner. Honda is yet to announce the price, but the City goes on sale in January of 2014. And if the company gets the price right, then the potent combination of a petrol and a diesel engine will change the dynamics in this segment, especially as the City comes with its reputation of a well-made car with reliable performance.
Now, if you think that the Continental GT is just a restyling exercise by Enfield, well, you couldn't have been more wrong. You see, this is a brand new motorcycle which is aimed at the global market, and this is based on the cafe racers of the 1960s. Its purpose is to provide the simple, uncomplicated and pure motorcycling experience that is just missing from the bikes of today. So let's just see how close they've been able to get to matching their philosophy. Now, if we talk about the styling of the Continental GT, there's no denying that it is indeed a very pretty looking bike designed to bring out that nostalgic cafe racer feel. Now, the fuel tank itself is long and it has recesses for the knees, clip-on type handlebars, and also a single-seater wafer-thin type of racing seat. The seating position itself, well, it's not upright like your regular Enfields. In fact, you need to sit pretty much back into the saddle, tuck your knees in, lean over the fuel tank, grab the handlebars, turn the ignition on, and you're all set to hit the road. spite of its crouching forward riding position, the ergonomics of the bike are spot on. All the controls are within easy reach and very easy to operate, highlighting the premium nature of the equipment used. The bike comes with these beautiful chrome-rimmed speedometer and tachometer, which are easy to read because of the red illuminated needles that just add to the class factor of this bike. Special mention also needs to go out to the rear view mirrors, which are positioned at the end of the handlebars, and not only do they look classy, they also don't vibrate when the bike is on the move. The positioning of the gear lever too is spot on, and the gear shifts are very smooth, making it very easy to shift from one cog to the next. Add to this a very light clutch and it results in a stress-free and enjoyable ride. Now on startup, you'll notice that it still sounds pretty much the same as a regular Enfield, and it still has that characteristic thump because it is still powered by the traditional air-cooled single-cylinder unit. So what has really changed? Well, that engine has now been bored out to 535cc, which has resulted in a marginal output increase to about 29.1 bhp of power and a maximum torque of about 44 Newton meters. This also now benefits with a remapped ECU, which has resulted in the bike being more responsive. I mean, it's quicker to rise up the rev range, and it also has that extra punch low down in the rev range, which is essential to the cafe racer heritage. In fact, it is very easy to hustle the bike through the gears, and you really need to look at the speedo to realize just how quickly you've reached the 100 km/h mark. But once past this, the vibrations start creeping into the handlebars and the engine too begins to lose steam as you approach 120 kmph. Even at these speeds, however, the bike stays composed and very well balanced thanks largely to the brand new chassis, which has been developed in collaboration with UK-based Harris Performance. This double cradle frame has endowed this Continental GT with very nimble handling characteristics, highly unlike any other Enfield that we've ridden in the past. The Continental GT also benefits from the new 41mm front forks and the twin gas-charged Paoli rear shocks, which result in a forgiving suspension setup capable of absorbing most of the bumps on the roads with ease. This compliant ride setup, however, does not daunt you from tackling the curves at speed, and the suspension does a great job of keeping the bike pointed in the right direction. Credit also goes to the Pirelli Demon tires that the GT wears, as they provide excellent grip around the corners and instill even more confidence in the rider when leaning into the sharp bends, knowing that the Continental GT will be able to easily handle it. To bring the bike to a standstill, the GT is equipped with the Brembo 300mm floating disc with a 2-piston caliper at the front wheel and a 240mm disc with a single piston caliper at the rear. The front brakes work really good, but I feel that the rear brakes could do with a lot more stopping power and response. Well, I have to say, traditionally, me and the Enfields, well, we never really mixed. And not because there's anything wrong with them, but me and them, somehow, we just didn't relate. Initially, when I saw this motorcycle, I really liked the styling, but I did have my doubts. Clip-on handlebars, wafer-thin seats, crowded traffic conditions, well, not a very pretty picture. But after spending some quality time with this bike, I have to say, I was totally wrong. This bike is super responsive, very easy to maneuver in tight traffic conditions, and in spite of its thin seat and clip-on handlebars, it handles very nicely. Take the corners and you won't be disappointed at all, and now I'm a believer.
It's good to be back on the road. There's a tradition that binds us. North, south, east, west. When we yearn for a break, that golden question comes up. What do I feel like today? And when you have the right partnership going, well then life just becomes fun.
Nature has a way of tempting us. With hills and valleys or riverbeds in the seacoast, we are blessed with so much in Maharashtra. Today I'm getting onto the Bombay-Goa highway and heading south, towards a place we normally just pass, when in fact it's the perfect spot to spend some time between Bombay and Goa. Chiplun is the destination. It's also known as the king of the Konkan coast. So let's get on the road. On the way to Chiplun, I'm going to pass Karnala, Nagothane, Kolar, Mahad and Khed. Over 320 blissful kilometers. The Fiat Linea Classic and I have traveled quite a bit together over the last few months and have come to become good friends. The interiors are really comfortable, the drive is smooth, and on a weekend getaway like this one, what impresses me most is her fuel efficiency. 2,500 rupees for a full tank of diesel. Now that's something I really like. Light on the wallet. It's perfect.
A pleasant drive on a smooth highway with an open landscape. What more could I ask for?
This is what you get when you get off city roads. Paradise. So beautiful.
Located in the Ratnagiri district within the state of Maharashtra, Chiplun lies on the banks of the river Vashishti. To the east of the city lie the Western Ghats, and to the west lies Guhagar. Now known as a fast-developing city in the Konkan region with a strong cultural background, the name Chiplun means the abode of Lord Parshuram.
Most places are easy to find in Chiplun, despite the fact that most of the roads don't have names. Another interesting tip, all restaurants are called hotels and all hotels are called lodgings. It's a bit confusing, so keep that in mind. Nestled in the hills on the outskirts of Chiplun is the Riverview Resort, which is the ideal place to just switch off and let nature take over. I love the view of the valley below of the gently meandering Veshtiti River, along with my cup of tea.
A short drive from the lodge is the Parshuram Temple, which is the perfect place to start exploring. After all, Chiplun is named after this very temple.
The Parshuram Temple and Village has a dreamy, times gone by air. It's absolutely lovely to walk through. These steps lead to the famous temple, which is extremely famous for the 6th incarnation of Vishnu.
The Parshuram Temple is situated at a height of more than 1,000 feet above sea level. Constructed with a perfect fusion of Hindu and Muslim architectural styles, the temple is surrounded by stone walls and consists of 3 idols that were brought here 300 years ago by Brahmendra Swami, with the idol of Lord Parshuram in the middle, Lord Brahma on the right and Lord Shiva on the left. The temple dedicated to goddess Renuka, the mother of Lord Parshuram, is also situated just behind the temple of Parshuram. It is believed that Banganga Lake near this very site was created using 5 arrows aimed by Lord Parshuram. Interestingly enough, many such temples in the region were disguised as mosques during the Mughal invasion, with a network of lanes leading to them kept purposely steep and narrow to slow down progressing invaders. The bathing tank houses turtles. I was hoping they would surface to take some fresh air, but I wasn't that lucky to spot them. The Pandav Caves, a gigantic well built with laterite stone, was just around the corner. It is believed to be built by the Pandavas themselves. 18 kilometers ahead of Chiplun was a surprise, the Wallawalkar Shivaji Museum. The great Maratha ruler's life history is presented through colorful exhibits of relief sculptures. The museum took over 15 years to be completed at a cost of 1 crore and was created by the great social worker Sitaram Buva Wallawalkar. I'm amazed at the amount of thought and effort that's gone into the artwork depicting Shivaji's life. I doubled back towards Chiplun and planned to take a 45-kilometer detour towards a place one can't miss when traveling through this area, Koina Dam. There are a few drives in our lives that leave a special mark in our memories. This was one such drive. The climb on the hills allowed me to test the Fiat Linea Classic's full potential. I let her do what she does best: drive. And almost right on the mark, exactly 45 kilometers later, I saw the dam and pulled over.
Here's a great clear view of Koina Dam, one of the largest in Maharashtra. This dam is the source of water for Western Maharashtra and also provides cheap hydroelectric power. Feels good to kind of get up close and personal.
I'm driving back down towards Chiplun from Koina Dam. The little pocket between Bombay and Goa proved to be a gracious host. With good points to drive to and green vistas to gaze at, Chiplun was well worth the visit. I'm now on my way back towards Bombay, but not before I make a quick stop in Raigad. So I'm going to see you there next week.